Alright, so this is my third follow-up on catching you guys up to speed on my journey for watching Doctor Who for the first time. I am currently on Season 6, Episode 12, where James Corden makes his second appearance. This episode comes right after God Complex with that Minotaur that feeds off of people's faith and beliefs. Last time I updated you guys, I was on Season 4, and I made it to Season 6 in 3 days. Like I said before, I'm already hooked. Now, if you were to ask me so far out of all the Doctors which one is your favorite, I would have to say hands down David Tennant. So far, the 10th Doctor is my favorite. Now, don't get me wrong, I love 11. His wittiness has me rolling every time. Now, if you were to follow up with the question, out of all the companions Doctor Who has encountered, which one is your favorite? It was a brief encounter, but I would have to say Will, Donna's grandfather. During the whole The Master and the Time Lord situation, I like how he was able to bring his guard down, and it was just like him talking to his dad. Because I love the times when the Doctor is able to just reveal his full-on vulnerability. There's no wittiness involved. There's not him distracting his companions on going another wacky adventure. With Will, he was able to have a sit down and just be full-on transparent and express his feelings, and I love that bit. Now for the next part, I want to rant a bit. Martha and the Doctor's romantic relationship was doomed from the start. From what I've gathered, the Doctor refuses to dwell on anything painful. He rarely speaks on what happened on Gallifrey in the Time War. He avoids the whole Rose bit at all costs. Not even 2 minutes after losing Rose, he already got into some weird shit, i.e. the first time he met Donna. Since then, he's never had time to sit down and grieve over the loss of Rose. And he repeated that same behavior when he had to give up Donna and we were introduced to Amy. Martha was a G. She had the biggest boss up. I'm sad to see her go, but I'm also glad because she realized that he will fall for any other woman except her. And her getting with Mickey was a curveball for me, but I'm also glad for the two. Because they were two characters being strung along and their love was not being reciprocated. And never will. Alright, so I'm done with my rant on that bit. On to the next topic. The episode Time of Angels, fam, I have been putting off that episode for days. Because what do you mean that there's a whole building full of nothing but weeping angels? So eventually I sucked it up and I watched that episode in the daytime. When I watched it in the daytime, I wasn't as paranoid, but when nighttime hits, fam, paranoia was at its prime. I was laying down going to sleep, or at least attempting to. My back is against the door and my mind was playing tricks on me. So in my head, I'm like, she's behind me, isn't she? If I don't move, she won't move. And the smallest of sounds was making me freak out. And then to get through the night, I had to hype myself up. I'm over here I can totally take her. I can fucking take her. I wish a bitch would. I also want to mention that I have a weighted blanket. So at the slightest movement, it moves as well. I'm so paranoid at this point that I could have sworn that this bitch was moving my blanket just to fuck with me. Fam, I felt my knees buckle, but thank God I was already laying down. When I reached the episode, The God Complex, the Weeping Angels had nothing over this bit. I have a phobia. My phobia is ventriloquist dummies. Blame Slappy from Goosebumps, and I'm not talking about the new gen that has Jack Black. I'm talking the OG Goosebumps where it used to play every October in Cartoon Network. There's also that movie that aired way before Goosebumps where all the toys had this particular chip on their back and then there was a lightning strike and then all the toys started to go against their owners. I can't remember the title, but since then I thought all of my toys were conspiring against me. Then when Night of the Living Dummy aired, that was the kick out for my phobia. So I was freaking the fuck out when I saw that little scene with a room full of nothing but ventriloquist dummies. And then it got worse when I got to the episode with those big-headed dolls. So I saw those two episodes in the same night and trying to sleep was a trip. So all night, I stayed in the same position for hours, barely moving, and I am sweating through my sheets. I am having hot flash after hot flash, and I refuse to move the blankets. Because in my head, if I move, they move. So the whole night, I'm pretty much paralyzed in fear, and you know when you're having a nightmare, you try your best to override the nightmare with good dreams? That was me for a solid 2 days. But anywho, that's all I have for you guys. Thank you guys so much for welcoming me into the fandom. I'll update you guys next time.